Welcome back to Black White Banter, ladies and gentlemen, from a very happy away day match reaction. And I haven't said that all season. Newcastle United 4, Everton 1. The Hill Dickinson Stadim, we've lost our virginity there in the most beautiful of style. Can we play there every week? Can we play Everton every week? But Newcastle fans, before I get into this match reaction, do us a little favour. Give us a like you do, and what that subscribe. There's a lot of matches coming up, starting with Tottenham on Tuesday, straight into Burnley on Saturday. So there's going to be a lot of videos coming up in the process as well, and get Black White Banter across all social media. So look, Newcastle United have got the hoodoo off the back, but we've done it in emphatic style. And let's not underestimate the fact that Everton had only lost one game in the Premier League at home this season in their new place. So it's a big win. They were buoyant after a win at Man United with 10 men on Monday. And we've gone down and over the course of the game, we've absolutely tonked them. We really, really have. That was emphatic. Yes, there was little spells where Everton had a lot of the ball, but we were the much, much better team. And look, going into this one, team selection-wise, Eddie Howe did go with Ramsdale. A lot of Newcastle fans were nervous. I felt nervous to see the team news come in case he went to Pope and he made a mistake. We told it was an injury. Was it an injury? Jury's out for me on that one. He conveniently gets injured on a Friday. Was he protecting the player? We might never know the answer to that. If Nick Pope's back in the squad on Tuesday, we'll see. I don't know, but I'm not too bothered. Ramsdale came in. I think that was needed. I haven't been on the back as much as some Newcastle fans have of Pope, never playing for this club again, talking about him as if he's never done any good for this football club, talking about him as if he's not a good shot stopper. But it was the time for him to come out. And I said in my very short match preview, I fancied us at Everton, despite our away form, if Hall and Livramento were playing, because their biggest threats are Jack Grealish with their most chances created, and Ndai on the other side with some of the most successful dribbles in the league this season. Very exciting, talented footballer. But Hall and Livramento, in my opinion, are better than them both. Their ceiling is higher than the one I'm above right now. And they both started, and I was delighted to see that. Dan Burn, left centre-back with Malik Thaiw. Alanga came in, which was a bit of a surprise, so I was really curious to see the set-up from Eddie Howe. And we were flying from the start. Voltemade, lovely play, onto Alanga. Should he have done better? He probably should have. That shot probably showed where his confidence was early doors. But then from the set-piece, Lewis Miley, lovely cross. Lovely to see him back in the team. I'm a big Lewis Miley fan. We'll touch on him more in this reaction video. And it was a lovely cross, and Malik Thaiw, bang. Lovely start, but you're still nervous as a Newcastle fan because you're thinking, right, we've been in this position too many times this season where we haven't built on it. And you're thinking, are we going to sit back? And we did. We did sit back a little bit. We did suddenly allow Everton into the match. We didn't necessarily push on and get control of the game. And you're getting more and more and more nervous. And I was getting really nervous. And then that's why that second goal came at the perfect time. Lovely bit of build-up down the right-hand side. It ricochets. And a Jordan Pickford error in this fixture is the cherry on the cake. Die-hard Sunderland fan, dislikes Newcastle. He's made that very known. He's played well against us in the last couple of seasons, but my God, that was a howler. And I was delighted for Lewis Miley to get that goal. And for his first 20, 25, 30 minutes of the match, he deserved it. Huge moment for us. And I think we really pushed on from there. I think mentally, we were probably in that place if we'd been here before. We were here at Marseille. We've been here at previous away games. God, I'm losing track. West Ham, Brentford, we've been here before. And that second goal just gave us a bit of confidence. And we really pushed on. Everton, very rarely, I think Ramsdale probably touched the ball in that first half 3 times. But I'll touch on him in a second in a key moment in that first half that sort of signified everything why people wanted him in. But third goal, again, Alanga, who I didn't think was great in the first half by any means. Across the match, I would have said he played relatively okay, but not great. Lovely counter-attack. That's what Alanga's good at, using that pace to get away. He plays it into Voltemade. Awful defending, by the way. The amount of space Voltemade was in, people didn't follow him. But it's that finish, it's that coolness that I think you get from a German footballer specifically. Sorry, Wirtz, your howler at Liverpool isn't mentioned in that. I'm not relating the two. And Job was a good one at that point. Lovely dink. To see Pickford dinked after his mistake was even more beautiful. And 3-0 at half-time, we relatively comfortable. Is Eddie Howe going to make changes? Let's just get in. And we did. They had a bit of pressure in the last minute and a half, couple of corners in. And I just wanted that goal to not be harmed until half-time. 3-0 up. Team talks, a pretty good one. Keep doing what you're doing, lads. We've got lots of players who can come off the bench. And look, we go into the second half, and second half starts and Everton are on top. And I say on top, used quite loosely, with regards to chances created. And I counted their shot on goal in the 50th minute as the first one on target, rolled into Ramsdale's arms from Ndai, and jobs are good. And that's sort of summed up the problems that they were having in this match, because they didn't have those outlets, and that's full credit to our fullbacks. But Newcastle obviously ride that storm a little bit to a degree, and then bang, Lewis Hall, who was unlucky not to register an assist for Barnes about a minute earlier with a lovely high crossfield pass. He then whips in a lovely ball after Voltemade was so unlucky. I mean, talk about Nick Voltemade's coolness in and around the box. He fakes a shot and he gets cleared off the line. I almost felt bad that one didn't go in. It comes back out to Lewis Hall eventually, and it's a beautiful ball. Really hard for Jordan Pickford with his little arms. And I mean, I'm not just saying that from a piss-take point of view. Jordan Pickford is not the sort of goalkeeper who can command the box. That's one of his downfalls for me. I don't think Jordan Pickford has ever been world-class. He's never let England down, but he has a lot of flaws in his game, and his height is one of them. Lovely ball in. Malik Chow from Milano. He plays the Sandro. He does the business again. Who knew he was a goal scorer as well as an incredible defender? And that's the point where it's game, set, match. Like, you're always a little bit worried. God, I remember Newcastle Arsenal 4-4. I did see the Sunderland game earlier in the day, how they came back from 2-0 down. If Everton had scored early in the second half, you get a little bit nervous. Can they get another one? Can they bring more players on, the likes of McNeil and stuff, and Beto, and give it more of a go? So I do still think that was a crucial period where they hit the crossbar. That felt, I'm certainly not going to say a match defining, because that still would have only been 3-1 with us having players to bring off the bench. But it felt a big moment that we went up the other end not long after and scored. And look, from there, it felt quite comfortable. They had a disallowed goal that was rightfully disallowed for handball. I was disappointed with Dewsbury Hall's goal. Malik Chow seemed to switch off and lose his man. Livramento didn't cover himself in glory, but from an individual point of view, it was a very good finish from a player who I'm quite keen on, Dewsbury Hall. I do think there's a very good footballer in there. He just hasn't necessarily had a full fair crack at the whip. But we saw the game out from there. You know, the likes of Willock, Ramsey come on there, young, energetic, well, not young, Willock's not young, but energetic, athletic players who are only going to cause Everton more problems with their energy coming on. Sandro Tonali wasn't even needed. And we see the game out. Could we have had more on the day? Definitely. Ramsey, Jordan Pickford makes a save with his trailing leg. There was moments, there was flashes, but that was a dominant performance overall from start to finish. Yes, they had the ball for spells. Yes, the start of the second half. Yes, the period when we were 1-0 up, they had more of the ball and we were getting a little bit worried. But generally speaking, were we ever under pressure? Was Ramsdale ever too worried in that match? Coming in for his first Premier League start, I don't think he was. And that's full testament to these Newcastle players, because there's a lot of mentality issues you can pinpoint with this. Marseille, they chucked it away. A lot of criticism in the aftermath of West Ham and Brentford. And 1-0 up, we did sit back a little bit. But the early start was brilliant. That really helped us. But Newcastle could have gone into this game with a little bit of a reserved attitude, even if it wasn't worked on the training ground to play that way. Look, where do we start with man of the matches? Before I get into man of the matches, I'll talk about where I think tactically Newcastle were really, really good today. And I think Lewis Miley's a big part in that. Look, I'm not for a second saying that Sandro Tonali should not be playing in this Newcastle team. He is a world-class footballer. And the fact that Newcastle have won without him in the team is full testament to this group of players again, because you are taking out one of your superstars and still winning the match 4-1. So that's a huge positive in itself. But what Lewis Miley offers away from home in particular is a control, a balance, in my opinion, much more of a balance to the midfield. It's his ability to sit in where needed. It's his ability to rotate with Bruno. It's his ability to play the simple pass sometimes where Sandro Tonali doesn't. And his work with Livramento down that right-hand side, God, man, he was playing right back in midweek in France, really stopped Jack Grealish, and he deserved his goal, his assist. Fantasy football, I don't think many people have got Lewis Miley in. His cross for the first goal in the early minutes was fantastic. He was picking up good areas, and I think there is a very, very intelligent footballer in there. So tactically, I think we got it right. Tino and Lewis Hall, how important they are to this Newcastle team should not be understated. They are so, so important to everything that we do. I thought Lewis Hall pipped it. I will move into man of the match performances now, and look, a lot of people are going to go for Lewis Miley, and rightfully so. Young kid coming in. I felt like that was Lewis Miley's best performance since his breakthrough. Probably since his breakthrough season when he was smashing it away at PSG and scoring against Fulham and everyone was singing his praises. I think he's been chomping at the bit for an opportunity, and that was great. And he had a massive contributing role in in us winning the football match tonight. But I'm going to pip it, and this might be controversial. I love Lewis Miley. Anyone who watches my videos knows I'm regularly calling him to come in for that balance in our midfield and that formation change. But I'm going to give it to Lewis Hall, because I thought Lewis Hall, he got his assist for the fourth goal. I thought his calmness on the ball, his ability to keep their best player in Ndai quiet, and he did for most of the match. Really good in tight areas, good at driving the ball up the pitch. He was driving the ball central. He's comfortable enough to do that because he used to be a midfielder once upon a time. He has played midfield for previous clubs. He just pips it for me as the standout. Lewis Miley on par. Tino Livramento on the other side against Jack Grealish. Other than Everton were really, really reliant on balls being played in behind rather than Grealish getting the ball early, because I think Jack Grealish figured out very early, and David Moyes, that Livramento was keeping him quiet. And Jack Grealish can be a very, very tricky customer, as we've found out over the years, as lots of clubs have. Centre-back wise, Dan Burn back at left centre-back. We know Malik Chow's impeccable, and he deserves full praise for not only how he played at the back, but also for his 2 goals. But is it any surprise that Dan Burn, when put back in at centre-back, looks so comfortable and so good? That's the Dan Burn we saw all season last season, who was my player of the season, not only for his Carabao Cup final goal, but just in general. So it was no surprise to see him good back there again. I don't think there was a cry out for, oh, we're missing Botman, oh, we're missing Fabian Schär. There wasn't. Dan Burn and Malik Chow, again, on Tuesday against Spurs, start for me. Into the midfield, again, Bruno pulling the strings, doing exactly what he does. Sometimes Bruno's role in this team, when he hasn't got an assist or created anything too much, can be a little bit understated. I think he was really important, everything he did. He's linked up with Miley and he switched. I thought Joe Linton was better tonight, and that's probably the one that a lot of people won't notice. He has looked a little bit technically off compared to the players around him, but I thought he was really, really good in what he did. Protection of that left-hand side as well. Voltemade, not always involved as much as he would like, but again, when he is, it's normally fantastic. It's normally brilliant. His ability to play the ball, he's the ball with his feet. Like I say, that one when the shot was off the line was fantastic. Barnes had a quieter night, but still created enough. He put a couple of lovely crosses in, a couple of chances himself. Elanga, I'm not going to get on his back. He's got an assist. He has registered a goal contribution, which was a massive hoodoo for £55 million. I still think the player looks a little bit unsure how to play when we have the ball. And in spells in that match, we did. Particularly after we scored the second goal, we had a lot more of the ball. And in the second half, we did as well. He still looks unsure how to play that way. He's all well and good running behind. He's all well and good on the counter. And I think that confidence, hopefully after today, I saw him with a big grin coming over to the away fans, which was amazing to see. Hopefully today could set him up a little bit. Jacob Murphy didn't even have to get in, which with Tottenham on Tuesday is impeccable. Look, I'm over the moon, and the fact that Tonali hasn't had to come on the pitch until the 90th minute, the fact that Jacob Murphy hasn't had to be used, Fabian Schär's had a rest, I'm over the moon, and everyone's going to look to Ramsdale in goal. I don't think that changed much. What I was going to say when I said I'll speak about that later, there was a moment in the first half when Ramsdale pinged the pass out to the left beautifully, and it set up Barnes in 2 more passes from there, and he almost scored. I think it just went past the far post when it bounced over Pickford. That sort of tells you the whole story about what Ramsdale can offer, as well as being a pretty good shot stopper. So does he stay in? That's very out decide. I don't think that was the key factor tonight, though. Do you know what? For Nick Pope's sake and all the grief he must have had mentally, he's been such a good goalkeeper for us. I'm happy that the talk isn't going to be in the aftermath of that match. Oh, Ramsdale made the difference there. Does he give our defence more confidence? Potentially. But tactically, I think Eddie Howe got it absolutely spot on today on his birthday. Happy birthday, Eddie Howe. And I think it's just, it feels like that could propel our season a little bit, because I'm looking at the fixtures and we've rotated again tonight. We can bring the likes of Murphy and Schär and Tonali back in, which is fantastic if we really need to on Tuesday to keep rotating slightly. We've got Burnley on Saturday, which has to be 3 points no matter what. That is a must win. And then we've got Champions League and that all-important derby. Yes, Sunderland won again today, and we'll all be keeping an eye on each other's results a little bit more as it gets closer. But getting the away day hoodoo off our back was one thing, but doing it emphatically was another. And there isn't one Newcastle player I can fault. Fantastic 3 points in a place where most people don't get them. Now let's push on from here. I think Eddie Howe is learning things about certain players, because I certainly have, and how they can influence this team. Hall and Livramento played a huge part in that. But Miley's come in, Alanga's come in, and we've won the match in the way we have, and we could have scored more. Newcastle fans, get down, let us know your thoughts below. If you've stuck around this long for my post-match thoughts, stood in a random alley, then do me a favour, whack that like you do, get the subscribe and get Black and White Banter across all social media where there is all sorts of content. I've got some amazing stuff coming this week for a full interview with ex-Newcastle defender Warren Barton, so there's lots of exciting content coming between the match days, the match day vlogs and everything in between. Love your support. Let's enjoy the night. Let's go and sink a few beers because Newcastle United have won away from home and we've absolutely smashed it. And Jordan Pickford made a mistake as well. Always sweet. Keep the faith as always. How are you, lads?